Today a look at two nice gentleman knives. Mcusta, or is it Mcusta? I don't know, I've heard both pronunciations. Japanese elegant pocket knife and a French Fontenille-Pataud. Let's first have a look at the Mcusta. Already the nice pouch that comes with it is a bit amusing. It's actually inspired by traditional Japanese samurai sword bags or something. So it looks a bit for females, you could say, for women, but I think it's quite charming. The knife, and I admit I would rather carry the knife just like that instead of in that colorful pouch. So this is the MC-75D Thiers, which a handle which looks a bit like bamboo. It's actually stabilized wood and colored red to a very nice effect. And so it's a one opener, very smooth, Teflon bearing, roughly 3 inches blade in the Mcusta version of Damascus. So it's not a classical forged kind of Damascus steel. Actually, you have a core here of VG10 and then a number of something like 14 or 15 layers at each side, which are pressed to it and then ground away. But it's not a classical Damascus as you see it. On the other hand, this is stainless and it looks very nice. Damascus is not exactly necessary for a performance point of view. Maybe it was in the old days, but it's not so important now anymore. However, for a gentleman knife, it definitely adds class. So as you see, nice in the hand, quite compact knife. 3mm spine here on the blade, so it is quite strong, yet it slices well. It's astoundingly sharp, and out of the box it was one of the sharpest things I've ever encountered, and it keeps the sharpness also amazingly well, so they do something right. So Mcusta, by the way, Japanese company from Seki city, which is a bit like the Solingen in Germany, or Thiers in France. It's the city where since centuries already they make knives and swords and the like, and cutlery. A company that actually uses modern laser cutting techniques and CNC techniques to prepare the pieces, but then they are fitted with the hand and ground with the hand, and so all kinds of really finished with the hand. So it's a combination with modern machine precision and still an artisanal touch. Now the result, in my opinion, is splendid. It's absolutely perfectly finished. My closest similarity, I would say, is a cloth sleeve from Switzerland. So being gentleman knives that can be used quite toughly because they are well made, but really not aimed at a tactical audience, more as universal practical little things. It's a liner lock. Liner is roughly 1mm thick. It's not that thick, but for this kind of knife it works, and I don't see an issue with it. So it's really smooth. Yeah, like I said, the Teflon here on the pivot helps for the smooth action. Nice steel liners. No clip on this one, that's why it comes with that colorful pouch. But I think it's pretty. It's actually the knife that got me interested in all these interesting, wacky gentleman knives. It was one of the first ones in my small collection. And well, it's still one of my favorite ones. I think it looks timeless, and yeah, it's really good. And actually the brand, they have a lot of nice knives with, for example, roughly this model but with a Damascus handle, or also other kind of wood patterns. Really a nice choice. Also they have a few very special limited series models with inlaid pictures and so on. Very nice. Well, it's a bit overkill for me. In general, I think Mcusta is a good alternative for well, for many more gentleman-like knives. They're perfectly made, beautiful. I hope you agree. I cannot imagine that you don't agree about the looks. Bon, so let's see now the other one. Fontenille-Pataud, I already discussed them in a post where I showed two beautiful lagioles. Really very nice French knife maker from Thiers. This beautiful reinvention of the classic Thiers design comes in a microfiber pouch that can be used to clean the blade a bit. So this is the back, very minimal. This is an amorette wood handle with finger grooves, and actually, well, I'm left-handed, but it's good to keep it like this or like that. I mean, it doesn't matter so much. It also exists with a very slick carbon fiber inlay, which also looks nice. Now, this is strictly purely a gentleman knife and a very nice one. So it's an open design. There are certain Fox and Columbia River knives that also have an open design, which of course means while this the axis here is not weak, it's nicely screwed together, this kind of knife is not for the hardest use. It's for a general gentleman kind of use. It will not be an issue, but it's not for tough use. The Mcusta here can be used tougher, simply because the axis is connected to two scales. But it gives a very modern look, and if you open it, well, it is one hand, but I think this kind of design is a bit better to use with two hands. Well, it has the general design of the classic Thiers. If you have not done so yet, one of my other reviews is about Le Chambriard, a very nice universal pocket knife. That's a classic Thiers actually that they do. Now this is really a reinvention of it, a modern way of looking at the classic design, and I think that's good because French knives, while they are always elegant and yes, and typically acceptable even for non-knife people because of their beauty, sometimes they are a bit too traditional. Often they don't really. It seems that they don't want to try new things, and here I think Fontenille-Pataud did really something fresh while staying in the French idea of making beautiful things. So here's also a bit of the amorette wood. At the spine, some file work, which tends to differ a bit knife by knife because this is handmade. There's quite a lot of artisanal work. Blade 12C27, well, 3.5 inches, I guess. 12C27, classic Sandvik steel, but very popular in France, and it works well. Flat ground blade, and you see the nice pattern here on the liner. It's a typical technique that is also used sometimes for watches, the background of watches. I forgot how it's called, the technique, bouchonnage or something like that. Anyway, doesn't matter so much. So it's actually, technically speaking, it's a liner lock, or should we say a frame lock? I don't know really. Quite thick here, the liner. Grips well, absolutely no issue with that. Here the pin to stop the blade is hardened, so it will not have an issue with lasting long. Voila. I also think that this is very beautiful. I carry it from time to time because, well, like I say, it's an elegant thing for cutting an apple, peeling something, opening envelopes, that kind of thing. It will do it perfectly fine and with style. And occasionally on a picnic you could eat with it. The blade has a good form, it's long enough. So if you are into French knives, and well, maybe you have already a few lagioles, this is quite an interesting addition. Also, if you have a Thiers like the Chambriard, I think this is also a fun reinterpretation. So I would say it's recommended. Put them again side by side. The Mcusta MC-75D and the Thiers reinvention by Fontenille-Pataud with amorette wood. So it's nicely wavy, actually, a bit leopard-like amorette wood scales. So I hope this was interesting viewing for you, and as always, feel free to leave bluntly honest feedback.